In the cold expanses of the Arctic, the wisdom of the Inuit elders echoes through generations. Their ancient oral traditions preserve tales of transformations and omens rooted in the intimate relationship with their harsh environment. Often shrouded in a mystical veil, these prophetic tales hold a mirror to humanity's ecological footprint. From shifting weather patterns to the impending alteration of the Earth's magnetic field, the elders have foretold ominous changes that are chillingly reminiscent of our current reality. This video delves into 10 such forewarnings, drawing connections to our modern-day understanding of environmental science and humanity's role in these potentially catastrophic events. Prophecy 1: Changes in animal behavior. In the world of the Inuit, the rhythm of life is inseparably intertwined with that of the animal kingdom. Their survival hinges upon the migratory patterns, behaviors, and life cycles of the creatures that populate the Arctic region. Through generations of careful observation, the Inuit have gleaned an understanding of their environment that transcends simple necessity, evolving into a profound spiritual connection. The first prophecy speaks of a time when animals begin to behave in ways that deviate from their traditional patterns. It is said that the animals highly sensitive to changes in their surroundings will be the first to react to shifts within the environment. Unpredictable migrations, altered feeding habits, and erratic behaviors signal a world out of balance. In recent years, anecdotal and scientific evidence appears to align with this prophecy. Polar bears, traditionally solitary creatures, have been spotted in large congregations due to scarcity of food caused by melting ice. Certain bird species are arriving earlier or leaving later than their usual migration schedules, disrupting the ecological balance. Caribou herds integral to Inuit livelihood have been changing their routes and calving seasons. For the Inuit, these anomalies are not mere curiosities but ominous harbingers of change, precursors to larger upheavals in the environmental fabric. The animals' deviations from traditional behavior are viewed as a response to ecological changes that humans are slower to perceive or acknowledge. Prophecy 2: Disruption in the seasonal cycle. The second prophecy of the Inuit elders speaks of a time when the seasonal cycle as we know it will be disrupted. The Inuit have long navigated their lives according to the rhythmic ebb and flow of the Arctic's harsh seasons. Their calendar is not dictated by the pages of a book, but by the first bloom of a flower, the onset of the polar night, the arrival of the first seal pups, and the freeze and thaw of the sea ice. However, the elders speak of a time when this intricate cycle will be thrown into chaos. Winter will arrive late, summer will linger, or unseasonable weather will occur, disrupting the natural patterns. This prophecy suggests a fundamental shift in the Earth's climate system that affects not only the weather but also the larger ecological network dependent on it. Contemporary observations and scientific evidence strongly echo these forewarnings. Climate change driven by human activity is altering weather patterns and causing extreme climate events worldwide. The Arctic is warming at twice the rate of the rest of the globe, with profound impacts on these seasonal rhythms. The traditionally predictable progression of seasons is becoming increasingly erratic, with longer, hotter summers and milder, shorter winters. And this is more than an inconvenience for the Inuit people. Changes in the timing and intensity of the seasons affect animal migration patterns, plant life cycles, and ice conditions, in turn impacting hunting, gathering, and travel, fundamental aspects of Inuit life. Prophecy 3: The coming of strangers. The third prophecy takes a human-centric turn, foretelling the arrival of strangers to the Arctic. The Inuit elders, through their prophetic vision, warn their communities about foreign entities entering their lands, bringing with them unfamiliar ways of life and imposing them on the Inuit people. In the prophecy, the strangers aren't just individuals, but they represent a larger cultural intrusion that upsets the Inuits' traditional ways of life. These newcomers would seek to exploit the Arctic's rich resources, heedless of the ecological balance that the Inuit had maintained for generations. They would bring noise to the quiet solitude of the Arctic, and their arrival would coincide with the Earth showing signs of distress. This prophecy has striking parallels with the modern-day incursion of industries into the Arctic. With the melting ice opening up previously inaccessible regions, many corporations are eyeing the untapped mineral wealth and potential shipping routes. This commercial invasion, often without appropriate regard for environmental preservation or local indigenous rights, disrupts the fragile ecological equilibrium and imposes significant socio-cultural changes. For example, seismic blasting used to detect oil and gas reserves beneath the sea floor not only pollutes the Arctic soundscape, but also has disastrous impacts on marine life. These animals depend on sound for communication, hunting, and navigation, and such interference can be devastating. In addition, the cultural erosion brought by these strangers significantly impacts the Inuits' unique way of life. The introduction of new technologies, Western education, and alternative economic structures often dilutes and distorts traditional Inuit knowledge, practices, and beliefs. This prophecy thus forewarns the challenges of maintaining cultural integrity and environmental stewardship in the face of rapid global change. It emphasizes the need for respect, understanding, and collaboration between different ways of life, and underscores the importance of preserving the Earth as a shared inheritance. Prophecy 4: Shifts in Earth's magnetic field. The fourth prophecy delves into a deeper and less obvious facet of our planet's behavior. The Inuit elders prophesied about shifts in the Earth's magnetic field, an event that is perhaps the most cryptic and scientifically intriguing of all the forewarnings. According to Inuit lore, the Earth has shifted or wobbled on its axis, changing the sky's appearance and influencing the world's magnetic field. The elders described noticeable changes in the sun's position at specific times of the day, variations in the appearance of constellations, and altered wind patterns, all signs of this prophetic shift. The Earth's magnetic field is a geophysical phenomenon resulting from molten iron flowing within the Earth's outer core, generating electric currents and subsequently a magnetic field. This field, which extends from the Earth's interior into space, serves as a critical role in protecting our planet from solar radiation. Historically, the Earth's magnetic field has undergone numerous reversals where the magnetic north and south poles switch places. The last reversal, known as the Brune-Matuyama reversal, occurred approximately 780,000 years ago. Scientists believe we could be on the brink of another such event, evidenced by the current rapid movement of the magnetic North Pole and weakening of the Earth's magnetic field. A significant shift or reversal in the Earth's magnetic field could have far-reaching implications. It could affect migratory animals that rely on the magnetic field for navigation, disrupt electrical grids and satellite communications, increase solar radiation reaching the Earth, and potentially contribute to climate change. Recent scientific observations support the elders' prophecy. There is growing evidence that the Earth's magnetic field is shifting. The magnetic North Pole is moving at an accelerated rate, and the overall strength of the magnetic field is decreasing, suggesting we may be in the early stages of a polarity reversal or excursion. How the Inuit elders came to foresee this event remains a mystery, as these subtle changes in Earth's magnetic field are largely imperceptible without sophisticated scientific instruments. Yet the elders' deep connection to and understanding of their environment, refined over thousands of years, could have made them attuned to the subtle changes in the world around them that others might overlook. Prophecy 5: Disappearance of the sea ice. Sea ice is not just a defining feature of the Arctic landscape, it's the lifeblood of the Inuit culture. A critical element of their survival, the sea ice serves as a pathway for hunting, a platform for communal activities, and a conduit for sharing cultural knowledge across generations. The fifth prophecy of the Inuit elders delivers a grim prediction: the eventual disappearance of the sea ice. Such a profound change in the landscape represents more than just physical transformation. It threatens the very survival of the Inuit way of life, built on the premise of a frozen, navigable seascape. And this prophecy is taking shape in our contemporary reality, as the Arctic is warming at almost twice the global rate. Satellite observations have shown a drastic decrease in the extent and thickness of the sea ice over the past few decades. Unusually large areas of open water have started appearing even in the coldest months, making hunting and traveling perilous. Moreover, the thinning ice cannot support the weight of traditional hunting prey such as seals, which disrupts the Inuit food supply. And this prophecy's fulfillment implies severe repercussions beyond the Arctic. The loss of sea ice accelerates global warming since ice reflects solar radiation back into space. Without it, the dark ocean surface absorbs the heat, leading to warmer oceans, rising sea levels, and extreme weather events worldwide. Prophecy 6: Increasingly severe storms. The Inuit have long been astute observers of weather patterns, developing a deep understanding of their intricacies to navigate their harsh Arctic homeland. However, the sixth prophecy speaks of a time when this wisdom is challenged by an increase in severe storms, an unsettling sign of an unbalanced world. The elders foresaw a time of raging winds and violent tempests more potent than those of the past. They warn that these storms, marked by unprecedented intensity and frequency, will cause widespread disruption and harm. In the context of contemporary climate science, the prophecy appears to be unfolding. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) reports an increase in extreme weather events as the Earth warms. Hurricanes are becoming stronger, the polar vortex more erratic, and rainfall patterns are shifting, causing both severe droughts and floods in different parts of the world. In the Arctic, these changes have been particularly dramatic. As the region warms and the ice melts, the previously ice-covered waters are exposed to the atmosphere, creating more frequent and intense storms. And these storms further accelerate ice melt, forming a vicious feedback loop. For the Inuit, these intensified storms pose significant risks. Traditional ways of hunting, traveling, and building are disrupted, threatening the Inuit's survival. Communities are forced to relocate due to the increased risk of flooding and erosion, tearing them away from their ancestral lands. Prophecy 7: The Great Quake. Living in one of the most seismic regions of the world, the Inuit elders have long incorporated earthquakes into their oral traditions. The seventh prophecy, however, foretells a great quake of such magnitude and impact that it would mark a period of significant upheaval and transformation. This prophecy, with its symbolic undertone, suggests more than just a seismic event. A great quake could represent any sudden violent disruption that shakes the foundations of society and the environment. For the Inuit, whose lives are intimately linked to the stability of the Earth, the prospect of such an event is particularly disturbing. From a scientific perspective, while earthquakes are a normal part of Earth's dynamic geology, the prophecy might allude to the indirect consequences of climate change that could trigger seismic activity. Melting glaciers and rising sea levels alter the distribution of enormous quantities of water, potentially impacting tectonic stress levels. In recent years, some areas previously locked in permafrost have experienced unprecedented seismic activity. A notable example is the increase in the frequency and intensity of earthquakes in Greenland. Although a direct link between climate change and increased seismicity is still under investigation, these events hint at possible connections. And from a societal perspective, the Great Quake could symbolize a metaphorical shake-up, a dramatic change in social or economic systems in response to environmental crises, perhaps similar to the ongoing societal responses to climate change. Through this prophecy, the Inuit elders seem to be highlighting the inherent connection between all aspects of life, geology, climate, and society, and the potential for dramatic change when these systems are out of balance. It serves as a call for preparedness, resilience, and the recognition of our responsibility towards Earth. Prophecy 8: Unprecedented Heat and Fires. Inuit culture, evolved in harmony with the frigid Arctic environment, regards the concept of heat with deep respect. Fire, a crucial tool for survival in the cold, is considered a powerful force. The eighth prophecy warns of a time when this force, typically under control and beneficial, would surge out of balance. The elders predict a period of unprecedented heat and uncontrollable fires, signaling an alarming disruption of the world as they know it. The manifestation of this prophecy in our present day seems undeniable. Global warming, a term unfamiliar to the ancient Inuit, is driving temperatures to record-breaking highs. Heat waves are no longer confined to traditionally hot regions. They have started to grip the Arctic. resulting in temperatures that were unfathomable for such polar latitudes. What's more, the uncontrollable fires prophecy parallels the increasing frequency and intensity of wildfires worldwide. The boreal forests of the Arctic, previously safeguarded by the cold and damp conditions, have started experiencing devastating wildfires. These fires in turn exacerbate global warming by releasing enormous amounts of carbon dioxide stored in the trees and permafrost, forming a vicious cycle of heating and burning. For the Inuit, these climatic aberrations threaten their way of life, altering the land and disrupting the delicate balance of the ecosystem upon which they depend. Prophecy 9. Rise of Disease and Famine. Among the prophecies shared by the Inuit elders, the 9th one speaks of an age of disease and famine, foretelling a time when life would become challenging due to health crises and scarcity of food. And disease in Inuit prophecies is not confined to the physical realm. It signifies the sickness of the earth, the societies within it, and the relationships between them. The elders' words seem to resonate today as we grapple with a planet suffering from environmental degradation and a global community strained by social inequality. The prophecy's mention of diseases is chillingly reminiscent of the current era, marked by the rise of pandemics and health conditions linked to environmental changes. New diseases are emerging and old ones are re-emerging with altered geographic distributions. Warming temperatures are expanding the range of disease vectors like mosquitoes, exposing more populations to diseases like malaria and dengue. And the famine element of the prophecy refers to widespread food scarcity, altered weather patterns including increased frequency and intensity of droughts and floods, disrupting agricultural practices leading to food shortages. In the Arctic, melting ice and changing animal behavior are making hunting, a primary source of food for the Inuit, increasingly difficult. And beyond physical hunger, famine could symbolize a deeper spiritual hunger resulting from the loss of cultural traditions and disconnection from the earth. Prophecy 10. The Collapse of the Social Fabric. The final prophecy from the Inuit elders paints a daunting picture of a world where the social fabric disintegrates. This prophecy refers to a time when the harmony among people and between humans and nature unravels, resulting in societal discord and detachment from our natural environment. The social fabric is a metaphor for the interconnections, shared values, and collective responsibilities that hold a society together. For the Inuit, who have lived cooperatively in harsh environments for generations, a strong social fabric is crucial for survival. The collapse of this fabric symbolizes the deterioration of these connections and shared values. Signs of this prophecy are observable in today's world. Social inequalities, political polarization, and conflicts are on the rise. Disparities in wealth distribution and access to resources are widening. Climate change and environmental degradation are exacerbating these issues, often hitting the most vulnerable communities the hardest. Furthermore, the prophecy reflects the growing disconnection between humans and nature. Many societies, particularly in the urbanized and industrialized world, are increasingly alienated from their natural environments. This detachment often leads to neglect and exploitation of the environment, accelerating global environmental crises. In the Arctic, the implications of this prophecy are particularly poignant. Climate change driven by distant actions is directly threatening the Inuit way of life, disrupting their tradition of living in harmony with nature.